Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jai Hind, Namaskar. So, I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good morning, Jai Hind. So, I hope that I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Okay. So, I welcome you all to this session. And in today's session, let us see that the topics which we are going to discuss. The first topic which we are having is with respect to the students' protest. Okay. There is again this one article which is with respect to the students' protest, that how the students have been protesting and what has been the response of government with respect to this. Okay. Second topic will be with respect to the health challenges in developing countries, that we will see. And the third topic will be this AI and agri photovoltaics or agrivoltaics. What is the relation between them? This is another article which we will try to see in today's session. Okay. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss. Yes, please, Anjali. Dekho, I have seen like some of you have some problems with respect to time also and other things. Okay. So there is one question which was there in the last session. Let me address that question. There was one of the question in the last session that what about like we have to spend 2 hours per day with respect to current affairs. That was one of the question which we have seen. Okay. In last session, I have seen that there was one question that 2 hours we have to give for the current affairs. Okay. That is one question which I have seen, that how we can manage that. Okay. Okay. So that is one question which I have seen, that in 2000, sorry, you are preparing for current affairs. There is one session in the morning that is of editorial and one session in the evening that is of current affairs. So there is this one question which is coming repeatedly, that how to manage these. There is 2 hours which is excess. But let me tell you, there is one such misconception which has been created. Okay, that if you are giving 2 hours or 3 hours for current affairs, it is too much. But why are you looking at this just as a current affairs? Let me tell you this one thing. Suppose we are talking here, we are talking about here about the student protest or health challenges in developing nations or AI and agrivoltaics. You may generally see that these are current affairs, but in actual, they are the part of your GS paper. So the morning session which we are doing is with respect to your GS paper 2, GS paper 3 mostly. So it is not just a current affairs update. It is a very much important part of your syllabus. See, there are some subjects which are very much famous, which are very much valuable. But let me tell you one thing. This current affairs is the one which is the kingmaker. It is the one which is the kingmaker. In prelims, you can see any subject. Like suppose if we are talking about polity, geography, economy or any subject, they are having 15, 16, 17 question maximum. There is maximum 15 or 16 question in any subject. Current affairs is having 20 questions in prelims. This current affairs is having 20 question in prelims. Okay. Then what we see that in the second case, if we are talking about the editorial, in the second case, if we are talking about the editorial, here we see that this is the base of your GS2 and 3. In fact, you will find that this current affairs on a minimum basis, I'm saying on a minimum basis, there will be, on a minimum basis, there will be 100 marks of questions, 100 marks in GS paper 2 and 100 marks in GS paper 3. This is the minimum which I am saying. But in fact, if you look at this, it will be more than that. So don't see it just like a simple subject where we are giving 1 hour, 2 hour daily. The thing is, current affairs is the one which is having more than 100 marks in GS paper 2 and 100 marks in GS paper 3. Nowadays, even in GS paper 1, which is more of a static subject, there also you will need the current affairs. There also you will see that around 3, 4, 5 questions are directly coming from current affairs. So it's not just like that it is a small subject. If you combine them in your mains, a minimum of 250 marks come directly from the current affairs. I'm not even talking about the indirect part. If we go about the indirect part, it will be more than 500. If we go the indirect portions, it will be more than 500. But direct questions from current affairs, it will be minimum of 250 marks. So it is an entire GS paper. It is an entire GS paper. And in prelims also, it is 1/5 mark. No other subject is having that much marks what the current affairs is having. So that's why you need to give more focus on current affairs. That's why there is a requirement of more focus or more attention on current affairs. देखो बैच में रिकॉर्डिंग रहता है क्या? That you have to ask in batch ना, different batches, different rules. देखो about this, I think I have told you already, Umesh Chandra. You have asked me this, I have already told you. Okay. You have asked me, Umesh, about this personally also, and I have told you about the batch. Okay. Now, coming to today's topic, students protest, health challenges, and AI and agrivoltaics. The first topic here is the state against its students, lesson to remember. This is the first topic which we are going to see. Okay. Now, what we see that this article, but only editorial class is enough. For what? For what purpose? See, in our editorial, we are discussing any topic comprehensively. So that's why like I'm saying that go through the editorial session, it will be much more helpful. देखो, about the batch, I have no idea that when it will be announced. So that's why I'm saying you continue with the editorial sessions. Okay. Now, see this one thing. See, there is already, you can see that we are in the month of August. So there is very little chance that this year we will have any batch. Okay. It is already the month of August. So I don't think that there will be a new batch right now. So go with the editorial sessions and the current affair classes. Okay. देखो Anuj, we are having one session with respect to current affairs in the evening and one session with respect to editorial in the morning. So we are having two sessions, one for the prelims in the evening and one for the mains in the morning. And this is the least amount of time which we can give for prelims and mains preparation. I will come to your question, Anjali, later. I will come to your question later. The state against it students, lesson to remember. Now see, this starts with example, like this entire, the core message. The core message is that students' voice this is something which is often ignored, and then what we see that it becomes stronger. It becomes much more stronger. So that is the core idea which is given in this article. That is the core idea which is given in this article. We see that in 1876, in 1876, okay, what we see that in 1876, what we see that like the British government in 1876, we see that the British government, what they did, they reduced age of age limit for civil services exam from 21 to 19 years. So they have reduced the age limit. Okay. So what happened that many of the students who were looking for getting selected into administrative services, they lost this opportunity. Okay. They are losing this opportunity. So what we see that British government, they reduced the age limit for civil services exam from 21 to 19 years. Now what we see that like here we see that SN Banerjee, Surendranath Banerjee. So what he did, he has like he led this one nationwide political mobilization, and there was formation of Indian Association. There was a nationwide political mobilization. There was a nationwide political mobilization, and there was foundation of Indian Association. There was this foundation of Indian Association. What we said, okay, like the response of British government, the response by British government, they did what? They crushed the movement. They crushed the protest. They also did this one thing. They also crushed the protest. Okay. Now what we see that after this, you might see this one thing. Let me, if you have read history, you may have gone through this, that during the revolt of 1857, the educated Indians were in support of British. Just to give you a background, in 1857, if we look at this, 1857, many educated people, many educated Indian supported British. But what we see that here, after this, here, British lost loyalty of educated class. And in fact, you can see this one thing, that after this period of time, later on within the next 15-20 years, you may see that there have been formation of so many political associations and so many other demands started. So just look at this one thing, that in 1876, the British government came with this idea that the age limit will be reduced from 21 to 19 years. That those who are above 19s, they cannot go for civil services. So many of the educated one, they lost their opportunity. Now there was a nationwide mobilization by Surendranath Banerjee. He led to the foundation of this Indian Association. There was a nationwide political protest, but the British government crushed the protest, ended the movement. Now what was the result of this? Earlier we used to see that in 1857 many of the educated Indians were supporting the British. They were against the dictatorship, they were against the king's rule. So they have supported the British during 1857 revolt. But here, after the British crushed the movement, we see that the British lost the loyalty of the educated one. And we see that later on it led to the foundation of many such other organizations. It led to the foundation of many such other organizations, and eventually we see that the British have to leave India. So educated, this is one such example, that when there is ignoring, or when there is a government which is ignoring the demand of the students, it is quite challenging for the government later. Okay. Similar thing has been seen in South Africa also, in case of India during emergency also. Now what we see during this NEET issue, when there was protest about the NEET, or right now the protest is going on in Jharkhand. You can see that in Jharkhand there are students who are demanding. If you look at the Jharkhand PCS or the Jharkhand Public Service Commission, you will see that it is one of the most inefficient state public commission in entire country. It is not able to conduct examination at all. Many a times what we see that just before one day or before 1 week they are cancelling the examination. So it is one of the most unreliable, most inefficient public service boards. Okay. And we see that right now also many of the students are protesting against this in the state. Now similarly what we see that in the NEET matter also there was protest by students in large number. Okay. So what we see that there was like this has affected more than 20 lakh students. It has affected more than 20 lakh students. What we see that like this is something which is bringing a lot of demotivation and depression for many students. Okay. This brings demotivation, uncertainty for several students. We have seen that there has also been suicides committed by many students. There has been suicides committed by many students. So people have lost their life. Due to this NEET paper cancellation. Now what we see that what was the initial response of the government? Okay. What was the initial response of the government? What was the initial response of the government? Okay. Initially what we see that it was having barricades. Okay. It was like there were barricades, there were tear gas, lathi charge, use of pellet guns, lack of dialogue. So what we see that this was the initial response of the government, and what we saw that the protest grew stronger. What we see that the protest grew stronger. What we have seen that more lathi charge. We have seen that there were more lathi charge, and then there were more students. What we see that there were more lathi charge, which has led to more students gathering at this Jantar Mantar and in various other parts of the country. So we see that if we are talking about any such student movement, if we see that any such student movement is there, this one way of treating them, that let's disperse them, let's say that they are not having the correct mind, they are not the one who are actually studying. So this is not the right approach to deal with them. Many of the political leaders have made claims or have given statements that these are not students who are actually going for a study. Okay. So what we see that there are certain students who have been saying, there have been certain of the MPs or certain of the leaders who have been saying that the students who are protesting, they are not the one who are studying, that these are anti-social elements. And what we saw, the response was that a huge number of people gathered at Jantar Mantar. So we see that this way of dealing is not going to serve the government as well. So now what we see, what lessons we can draw from here? What lessons can we take from here? Okay, that that violence by a state, first thing is, violence by a state often makes the protest stronger, makes the movement stronger. If there is a violence, okay, so what we see that genuine grievances cannot be eliminated. Genuine grievances cannot be eliminated through coercion. That if you are pressurizing someone, if you are putting pressure on them, it cannot lead to elimination of the problem. Their grievances, if they are genuine, they will not be dispersed by heavy use of force. Okay. So what we see that this execute excessive force, it is changing the policy disputes into questions of dignity and justice. So when we are having excessive force, changes policy disputes into matter of justice and dignity. Into matters of justice and dignity. So that is also one thing which we see. Okay. So what we see that, like, this is not going to be the solution. Okay. Second thing is, like, if the government is trying to declare this, or if the government forces are trying to say that the students are not genuine one, this undermines the legitimacy of the government. Okay. So the attempt of demeaning students by executive can lead to reduction of legitimacy of government itself. Okay. So if you are trying to demean the students, that they are not the correct students, that they are not one who are studying, so this is something which can lead to the situation where people will lose the trust in the government itself. So that is also one of the challenging issues. What we see that, like, there is something which we have to see, that protest is a symptom. Protest is a symptom. It is something which is underlying, or it is something which is reflecting. Protest is a reflection of existing problems or existing grievances. It is not a disease. Okay. So protest is not a problem. Protest is not a problem. In fact, it is a reflection of underlying grievances of the citizens. So this is some lessons which we see. Okay. This we see that it is not a problem. Okay. So then this is one of the part that what we see, that when we are talking about the NEET issue, from here the government can take a few lessons. The government can take a few lessons, and not only here, across the country we see that there has been several ongoing protests with respect to students' future. Now, even now we are seeing that even when the protest has been concluded, thereafter also we have seen that there have been some paper leaks in various parts of the country. After this protest also, we see that there have been several paper leaks in various parts of the country. It can be the fault of a state government, it can be fault of the union government. It doesn't matter which party is there in power. There is a paper leak and this is a challenge. So throughout the country, all the governments, whether it is the state government or the union government, they have to understand that this is a major issue. It is affecting the life of the students. It is affecting the life of the students. Okay. So this is one of the challenge. Okay. This is one of the challenge which we see, that we are seeing there is a student grievances which is going on throughout the country, but there is little resolution with respect to this matter. Okay. Now, what should be done? Like, what should be the approach? What should be the way forward? 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 The first thing is, like, there should be an independent examination authority. There should be independent examination authorities. Example, UPSC. Example, UPSC. Okay. There should be transparent evaluation and re-evaluation processes. There should be transparent evaluation and re-evaluation processes. We also see that there should be a strong parliamentary oversight. There should be a strong parliamentary oversight over examination authorities. That they should be responsible, they should be giving the reports in the parliament. Okay. What we see that there should be fixing of responsibility. Fixing of responsibility in case of any exam offense. So if there is any exam offense, there must be fixing of accountability. So this is one of the part. With respect to government, this is the part for the examination, that what should be done. But for the government, there is a different set of suggestion. For the government, there is a different set of. First thing is, they have to listen to the students before the conflict escalate. Listening to students before the conflict escalate. Now see this one thing, what happened at Jantar Mantar? At last the government has started dialogue with the student. The government has gone for the resignation of the education minister also. The same thing could have been done 20 days back also. Maybe if the government would have a dialogue at that time, the education minister would not have to even resign. If the government would have started a dialogue on the first day itself with the students, then at that time there may have been some other solutions. There may have been some other reforms. So what we see that this approach of the government to ignore the protest is becoming a tough challenge for the government. Okay, what we see that they have to treat the protest as a legitimate public demand. Okay, so they have to treat students' protest as a legitimate demand. And start dialogue. start dialogue. Okay. So they have to start the dialogue. They have to build credible institutions. The government have to create credible institutions for transparent, creating credible institutions for transparency and accountability. So this is something which is required. For a very long period of time, what we have seen that the governments have often been ignoring the protest, and the result is nowadays the protests are becoming much more volatile, much more aggressive. This is a challenging trend for the entire country. The protests are growing in number. The protests, what we see that they are becoming much more volatile. So you can ignore it by saying that there are certain like antisocial elements. But the thing is, antisocial elements are just a few. They do not come in lakhs of number. If 1 lakh people or 10 lakh people are antisocial, then who is social then? If 10 lakh people are gathering at a place and you are calling all of them as antisocial, it means you are not realizing the main grievance. So this is one of the things which we have to understand from the ongoing protest, that the ongoing protests are not simply a mere simple protest. It is an indication of the existing problems in the society. Okay. Transparent evaluation and re-evaluation means, should the corrected sheet send to the candidates? Why we cannot send it? The thing is, why we cannot send it? If there is a proper criteria of evaluation, although evaluation is something which is subjective in nature, it's fine. It is subjective in nature. So there should be a band, there should be a clear-cut band which should be established, a clear-cut band. Like suppose that if there is a class 10th examination, there is a question, what is photosynthesis? What are the various steps involved in photosynthesis? What is the end result of photosynthesis? Okay. Let's say this is one question. So you have to give 6 marks for it. So you have to give the criteria that if someone is making the proper definition of photosynthesis, if everything is right, we are giving them 2 numbers. If the equation is not written, we are giving 1 number. So you should set a criteria. You should set a criteria that on what basis you are giving marks. Why we cannot have transparency in that system? Yes, you can say that it will range from 1.5 to 1.7, and that will be the discretion of the evaluator. That will be the discretion of the evaluator. That from, if you are writing all these things, now it will be discretion of the evaluator that from 1.3 to 1.7 any marks can be given. Okay. So this is one part. Of course, you have to leave it to the evaluators. There should be something for their discretion. But there can be a proper framework for this, that on what basis we are evaluating the answers, and why we cannot develop that for the entire CBSE examinations. Okay. So if there can be transparent evaluation, then you can send the copies to the students. But if you are lacking that system, then you will not be sending it. Okay. So this is one of the part. Now, coming to the second thing. Now, it may be said by some people, then the process will become too much lengthy. कुछ लोग ऐसा बोल सकते हैं कि the process will become too much lengthy. You are thinking about the lengthy process. That result is going to determine the future of that student. You have many such colleges, you have many such institutions where if you are having a marginal change in the percentage, you will not get admission. You are having colleges at graduation level where there is, if a minor change in the percentage of the people, they will not be getting admission. And then if you worry about that, the process will become lengthy. Then what about the future of the students? So you cannot say that the process will become lengthy, it will become too much complicated. Of course, it will be complicated. It is determining the life of that student. So it has to be complicated, but it has to be transparent. Okay. Now, coming to the second part, a strong health system for all with better spending. This is the second part. I hope the first topic is clear. I hope the first topic is clear to everyone. Chalo. Then let's move on to the next topic, a strong health system for all with better public spending. What is the core idea? What is the core idea here? Core idea is that health spending, it is low, donation by foreign countries, donation by foreign countries, it is something which is declining, and the expenditure quality, this is something which is poor. So there are three basic discussions here. इस पूरे आर्टिकल में तीन बेसिक डिस्कशन है. The first one is this, that the health spending is quite lower. The first part is government last point. Government का last point क्या था? Credible institutions, I think. Creating credible institutions for transparency and accountability. You have to create those institutions where there can be transparency in the process, like the evaluation process that has to be transparent. The selection process has to be transparent. If there is any fault, then there should be a person who would be accountable for it. Okay. So these are the three main ideas of the second editorial. Health spending is low. Donation by foreign countries, it is declining, and expenditure quality is again low. So these are the three basic ideas which are here. First idea is this, that lower spending by government. There is lower spending by government, and according to World Bank, according to World Bank, it is being said that in low and middle income countries, in the low and middle income countries, low and middle income countries spend half of recommended levels. That low and middle income countries spend half of recommended levels on health. Okay. That the low and middle income countries spend half of the recommended level on health. Okay. As a share of GDP, their health expenditure is very low. Okay. What we see that the gap, okay, if we talk about the gap, okay, like between the developed and developing nation, the gap between developed and developing nation gap between developed and developing nations, it is roughly around 1.68% of GDP. The gap between developed and developing nations is 1.68% of the GDP. What we also see, if we are talking about India, our health expenditure is 1.43% of GDP. This includes union plus a state. The union contributes about 0.29%. The union contributes about 0.29%. Rest is done by the states. Okay. So if you look at this, this is the first part, that what is the spending by the government. In the low and middle income countries, they are spending half of the recommended level on health. Second, we see that the gap is around 1.68%. And if we talk about India, it is 1.43% of GDP. That is the first part. What is the spending by the low and middle income countries? The second part of it. If we are, this is the first part. This is the first part. Now the assistance by, the second part is assistance by developed nation. If we talk about the assistance by developed nation, in 2025, what we see, US. In 2025, US reduced a 67%. Okay. Reduced assistance by 67%. So US has reduced it by 67%. United Kingdom, it has reduced it by 39%. United Kingdom has reduced it by 39%. France has reduced it by 35%. Okay. Then if we look at Germany, it has also reduced by 12%. Okay. What we see that, as per OECD, the global health funding is going to decline by up to 60% from 2022 level. Okay. So what we see that the global funding in health is going to decline by 60% from its 2022 level. So we see that the first part of it is that there is a lower spending by the government in case of low and middle income countries, including India. Second part is this, that the developmental assistance by the foreign nations is also declining. Now coming to the third part. It is about the expenditure quality. The third part is about the expenditure quality. What we see that in this case, what we see that even if they are having health budget, only 85 to 90% of health budgets are actually utilized. Okay. In low and middle income countries, LMIC means low and middle income countries. In low and middle income countries, only 85 to 90% of health budget is actually utilized. So even after having a lower budget, the utilization is further lower. That first of all, we are having a lower budget. Second thing is, we are having a lower utilization of the lower budget. Okay. This is also one of the things. In India, we see that parliamentary committee says that in our country, only about two-third of the allocation has been actually utilized. Okay. What we see that in India, according to parliamentary committees, on health infrastructure mission, only 2/3 funds utilized. Only 2/3 funds have been utilized. What we see that in the National Health Mission, in NHM, in National Health Mission, what we see that only 26%, fund for communicable and NCDs, non-communicable diseases, are actually utilized. So if you see the performance in India, it is much more poorer. Poorer. What we see that, first of all, we are having a lower fund. And even if fund is there, the utilization of that fund is very much poor. The utilization of that fund is very much poor by the different authorities. What we see that, like, what is the major part where we are having major focus? Okay. Our health spending, the major focus remains on salary and administrative expenses. The main focus remains on salary and administrative expenses, secondary and tertiary care, we see that there is a ignorance towards primary health and curative care. Or preventive health care, or you can say that preventive health care. There is a primary health and preventive health care. Preventive health care. So there is an ignorance of the primary health, okay, and preventive health care. They are not getting like any such special focus. Less than 1/4 of the money is spent on preventive health care. So we see that this is less than 1/4. Less than 1/4 is there. Less than 1/4 is there on preventive health care. So our expenditure quality is also not proper. We see that there are three major issues which has been highlighted here. First thing is the low budget. Second thing is that the assistance from outside is also becoming lower. And the third major part is the quality expenditure is also not there. Now, in this case, what suggestions are there? Suggestions. Let us come to this part, that what suggestions have been provided. That what suggestions are being provided here. The first suggestion which has been given is full utilization. Full utilization of budget. The first thing is which we have to ensure is the full utilization of the budget. Avoid delay. in releasing funds. Avoid delay in releasing funds. Then we have to see, strengthen the financial management. We have to strengthen financial management. Strengthen the financial management. Okay. And we have to prevent, okay, like we have to first ensure these three things which are required with respect to the budget part, that whatever limited budget we are having, we have to first ensure that it works on this ground. The second level of suggestions, the second level of the suggestion is like we have to improve our quality. Okay, so we have to shift more towards expenditure. We have to shift expenditure towards preventive healthcare. We have to shift our expenditure towards the preventive healthcare. That is one thing which we require. Then we have to ensure adequate spending on medicine, diagnostic and essential services. Okay, so we have to spend, or we have to allocate adequate resources for medicines, diagnostics and essential services. Okay. So what we have to again do is, like, there are many such hospitals which are running without labs. There are many such hospitals, government hospitals, which do not have a functional lab. Even if they're having lab, it is not functional. Medicines are often not available. Okay. Essential services are not provided. So we have to have a focus on them also. Okay. We have to also improve governance and operational efficiency. We have to improve governance. Achha. Allocate resources towards communicable and NCDs, non-communicable diseases. Okay. That is also one thing. Then improving. We have to improve governance and efficiency. We have to improve governance and efficiency. Okay. Like, we have to enhance budget. We have to enhance the budget. Okay. We have to, of course, enhance budget. First thing is, of course, required, we have to enhance budget. Okay. Second thing is, we have to increase the accountability of the system. We have to increase accountability of the like post holders, those who are having the different positions. Their accountability has to be ensured, that how the funds have been utilized, why the funds have not been utilized. Okay. Then we have to also look at we have to work on service delivery at ground level. Okay. Work on service delivery at ground level. Work on service delivery at grassroots level. Now, this is something which can be done at the district level also. Like, suppose that many of you are going to get selected in the examination, and after a certain period of time, you will be posted as DM in various districts. Now, as a DM, you also have this responsibility to look at the healthcare system of the entire district. Now, a basic thing which you can do is you can try to have competition among the various primary healthcare centers. You can try to have a better working of the primary healthcare centers. It's quite easy to blame the AIMS and other major institutions that their functioning is very much screwed. They are not working in a proper manner. But the primary healthcare centers which are there, they are having a major challenge in our healthcare system. So as a DM of your district, you can work on improving that structure. You can improve that governance at that grassroots level, at panchayat level, at block level. There you can work towards that how the primary healthcare is working there. Are they having proper medicines? Are they having the diagnostic facilities? At least at block level, there should be some diagnostic facilities. Okay. So that is where we have to actually work. It's not going to work at the parliament level. It has to work at the grassroots level. Okay. Then what we see that we have to also reduce corruption and bureaucratic inefficiencies. We have to reduce corruption and bureaucratic inefficiencies. So this is one of the part which has to be done in order to improve our public healthcare system. Okay. So how many of you are going to work for this? When you will get selected, of course, जब आप select हो जाओगे तब आपने अपने यहाँ primary healthcare पे कितने लोग focus करोगे? Whether you are selected as SDM or you are selected as a district magistrate, how many of you are going to work on this? We have two questions here. The student protests are usually indicators of institutional failures rather than acts of disorder. Comment. This is one of the question where you have to write in 150 words. Second thing is health is wealth. It is true not only for humans but also for nations. In this context, analyze the major challenges faced by developing nations and suggest measures. Okay. So these are the two questions. इन दोनों का आंसर आप लिख सकते हो? इन दोनों का आंसर लिख सकते हो? अच्छा, there is only few people who are saying that they will work on primary health care. बाकी लोग नहीं काम करेंगे? At least now you can speak. I'm not going to monitor what you are going to do after selection. अभी तो आप बोल ही सकते हो. Now, coming to the third part, that we have this third one article with respect to this AI and agrivoltaics. करेंगे? Good. चलो, we have so many. दो हॉस्पिटल सीज कर दिए. नहीं, देखो, there is one part that you can close the hospital, but that is not going to serve the interest of the people. If you are seizing the hospital, rather than replace the same doctor by some talented one, we do have so many talented people in India. Today in the Hindu, there was an article which is talking about the brain drain from India. भारत से जो brain drain हो रहा है उसके बारे में. So rather than sieging the hospital or closing the hospital, the better solution will be to remove the inefficiencies and replace it by something superior. Now here, what is the main article? In Andhra Pradesh, we are going to have AI data center. This is going to require energy. This one is going to require energy. Okay. Now we have another institution, ICR, IER. It has established. Okay. It has established agri-photovoltaic plant projects. So now here, I think you can relate these two, add them. This is the main concept. Okay. That in case of Andhra Pradesh, so they are very honest. अगर उनको नहीं करना है तो बोलेंगे भी नहीं, है ना? Yes, honesty is the prime necessity. You have to be first honest, then you have to commit anything. Okay. Now, this is the second part. This is about the agri photovoltaics, AI and agri photovoltaics. AI and agri photovoltaic. This is basically connecting two ideas that Andhra Pradesh is going to have a AI data center, and in Rajasthan, Gujarat and other parts, we see that there is one thing, that there is establishment of agri photovoltaic projects. So means from agricultural field we are getting energy. So this is the main idea. देखो ये पूरा इस पे क्वेश्चन आने की संभावना कम है, but yes, there can be one solution which you can give in some of the answers. Okay. So if we are looking at this, like if we are talking about Andhra Pradesh, okay, in case of Andhra Pradesh, we see that Google, this is creating an AI data center. This is creating an AI data center. Okay. There is 15 billion investment. There is $15 billion investment. There is $15 billion investment which we see here. Okay. Now here, here what we will see that they can procure their own electricity. They can procure their own electricity as per government policy. They can procure their own electricity as per government policy. Okay. So what we see that, like this is one thing, that they have this one flexibility. They have this one flexibility. They are going to require a huge amount of power. They are going to require a huge amount of power. They are going to emerge as a key buyer of green energy. They are going to emerge as a key buyer of green energy. So this is one side. Second side is we have agri voltaics. So we see that solar panels in agri fields. We see that no impact on crop productivity. There is no impact on crop productivity. We see that there is renewable energy generation. There is maximum land utilization, or higher, not maximum but higher utilization of land resource. There is a higher utilization of the land resource. So we see that there is no impact on crop productivity. There is renewable energy generation, higher utilization of land resource, better income for farmers. Better income for farmers. So this is one of the key idea. Now what is the suggestion? The suggestion is quite simple. The suggestion is quite simple. We are all searching for our problems on Google. हम लोग को जब भी कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है, we search on Google. So now the Google need to search, Google need to look at this one option also. If Google is having a AI data center in Andhra Pradesh, they are going to procure huge amount of energy. There is one option, rather than establishing a solar power plant at a separate place, they can go for investing in farmers. वो farmers के साथ मिलकर काम कर सकते हैं, where they can help the farmers to establish agri photovoltaics. They can help the farmers to establish the agri photovoltaics. They will be getting the energy in their power plants. So they are going to spend it somewhere. कहीं ना कहीं तो spend करेंगे ही करेंगे. So they can spend some part of this investment in creating agri photovoltaics. तो इससे farmers को भी मुनाफा होगा. Google will also get the benefit. Okay. So what we see that this is one suggestion, integration of AI data center. This is one of the integration of AI data center with agri photovoltaics या agrivoltaics. So that is one of the key suggestion which has been given in this article. So we are looking for Google everywhere. Google should look for energy here in the farmers field. So that is one article which is being discussed here. तो इसको आप एज अ केस स्टडी एज अ एग्जाम्पल कोट कर सकते हो इन एसे राइटिंग ऑल्सो, इन मेन्स आंसर राइटिंग ऑल्सो, इन ethics example also. Okay. That how we can maximize our resources and we can look for sustainable development. सोचो इससे farmers का भी फायदा होगा, Google को भी फायदा होगा, maximum land utilization है. So this is one such idea which has been given. I hope it's clear. So now we are coming to this question. आपको दो क्वेश्चन मैंने आज के लिए दिया है. I have given you two different questions for today. The first thing is the students' protests are usually indicators of institutional failure rather than act of disorder. Comment. Health is wealth. It is true not only for humans but also for nations. In this context, analyze the major challenges faced by developing nation and suggest measures. तो ये दो आंसर्स है जो आपको लिखने हैं. नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू द क्वेश्चन. अब क्वेश्चन पे आते हैं which we have discussed last day. Do you think that fast track courts can ensure speedy and effective justice in India? Justify your answer with suitable arguments. Okay. The question was with respect to fast track courts. क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे सिर्फ फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट्स के बारे में है. Okay. Now, if we are talking about this one topic, in the introduction, you can give the context. Give context of new bill and establishment of fast track courts. Okay. You can give the introduction where you can mention about the latest bill which is with respect to the the examination paper leak, prevention of examination paper offenses. So you can give the example of that, and there you can say that again some new fast track courts will be established. Okay. Then what you will do? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of FTC? The nature of cases. इन सब चीजों को आप यहां पे बता सकते हो कि why we are establishing the fast track courts. If you want, you can make a flow chart for this. ठीक है, इसकी शुरुआत आप कर सकते हो फ्लो चार्ट से. Here you can represent that why we are going for establishment of this fast track courts. What is the purpose of it? Okay. Then the second thing is you can talk about the achievements and limitations. I have given you certain data. In the last session. अगर आपको याद हो, I have given you certain data with respect to this, that what has been achievements and limitations. So I have given you the data with respect to this in the last session. तो उस data को आप यहाँ पे quote कर सकते हो कि what have been the achievements of the fast track courts. Okay. Then the third thing is if we are talking about this limitation, since we have mentioned the limitation, we have to identify the factors behind poor performance of fast track courts, then you will mention that what suggestions you can offer here. That will be the part what suggestions you can give here. Okay. And then at the same time, here there is one part that there is one thing more you can write. Factors behind poor performance plus one more thing which you will write here before the suggestion part, that one more part which you can write here, that fast track court, is it against right to equality? इस पार्ट को भी आप थोड़ा सा डिस्कस कर लेना कि why it is considered against this right to equality, that why this is something which is considered against the right to equality. और फिर आपके पास सजेशन देना है that how we can improve it. अच्छा, यहां पे दो पार्ट कर दोगे, इंप्रूवमेंट फॉर एफटीसी, तीन पार्ट एक्चुअली, इंप्रूवमेंट फॉर फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट्स, इंप्रूवमेंट इन इन्वेस्टिगेशन, ये दूसरा पार्ट, एंड एविडेंस एंड बाकी चीजें, एंड थर्ड पार्ट विल बी ओवरऑल जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म. ओवरऑल जुडिशियल रिफॉर्म, ये तीन चीजों को आप सजेशन में यहां पे मेंशन करना. फर्स्ट पार्ट इज इंट्रोडक्शन, सेकेंड पार्ट पर्पस, you can make a flow chart, third part data, achievement and limitation, fourth part factors behind poor performance, fifth part why it is against right to equality, sixth part suggestion. In suggestion you will write three things: improvement for the FTC, improvement in investigation and evidence, and overall judicial reform. So these three parts you are going to mention. Then after, when you are writing conclusion, okay, since the question is asking do you think, it means here you have to give your opinion. Here you have to give your opinion. So rather than writing direct yes or no, you can give a balanced opinion. You can give a balanced opinion. You can give a balanced opinion here that the fast track courts have got a mixed result. The efficiency the fast track courts have got a mixed result in the present times. While some of the cases have been solved, there are several other cases which are pending. और फिर आप यहाँ पे रिफॉर्म को सजेस्ट कर दोगे कि by increasing the judicial strength, reforming the criminal investigation or reforming the investigation system, and modernization by integrating technology can help in providing speedy and effective justice. तो ये तीन चीजों को आप कोट कर सकते हो. The first thing is they are having a mixed result. इतना लिख के भी आप छोड़ सकते हो. Then you can give the suggestion. So first thing you have to give opinion plus you have to give suggestion. एंड इन सजेशन, देखो सजेशन में यहां पे क्या करेंगे, कुछ नया देने से अच्छा है कि आप इन तीनों को समराइज कर दो. कि वी नीड टू इन द स्पीडी, और यू कैन स्टार्ट लाइक दिस कि स्पीडी एंड इफेक्टिव जस्टिस इन इंडिया कैन बी इंश्योर्ड बाय स्ट्रेंथनिंग द जुडिशरी, रिफॉर्मिंग द इन्वेस्टिगेशन सिस्टम एंड इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. तो ये तीन चीजें आप यहां पे लास्ट में कंक्लूजन में डाल सकते हो. आई होप दैट इज क्लियर. हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन मेंशन दैट ऋषभ, दैट इज आल्सो फाइन. आप फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट कब पहले बना था उसको भी मेंशन कर सकते हो, दैट्स इक्वली गुड. तो इंट्रोडक्शन में आप उसका भी मेंशन कर सकते हो, या जो करंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट है उसका भी मेंशन कर सकते हो. बोथ ऑफ देम आर इक्वली गुड. तो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव एक्चुअली रिटन दिस आंसर? सच बताओ अब. How many of you have actually written this answer? There was a question in the last session. Let me look at this. How it will come. देखो एक क्वेश्चन था कि आज लिखेंगे, नहीं लिखा था. I know many of you have not written. Generally, Sunday is one such part. Generally, Sunday is one part when many of the people start ignoring. Okay. Sunday is one such part where many of the people ignore. On Saturday and Sunday, people go into a rest mode. But the thing is, you have to write it. We are practicing answer writing on daily basis. And see, this is one such opportunity which you should not miss. We are writing, like, suppose we are writing 20 answers per month here itself. We are discussing it. I am giving you 40 questions. Think about this. If you have written 40 questions per month, then also, even if you are starting from the month of August, आप अगस्त से भी स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो बाय द एंड ऑफ दिसंबर यू वुड हैव रिटन एट लीस्ट 200 आंसर्स. जो स्टार्टिंग से कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, दे हैव रिटन मोर देन 100 आंसर्स फॉर श्योर. और जब आप 100 आंसर लिख लेते हो तो देन यू विल गेट गुड कमांड ओवर द आंसर राइटिंग. मन नहीं लगा, मन लगाना होता है. कोटेशन वाला डाउट, यस आई नो देयर इज वन पार्ट. if you are like missing the quotation entirely, do not write it, write something else. एक quotation गलत लिखना and then giving someone's name, it's something challenging. Okay, तो उसको quote unquote मत करना. In general आप लिख सकते हो, but don't give it under quote and unquote. Okay, generally when we write quote, we give this quote unquote part, so don't go for that. Otherwise you can write the meaning of it, and also do not also do not mention the person who has said it. Okay. So batch लेने के लिए कैसे connect कर सकते हैं? You have to connect to the team. You can go to the KGS website. There you will find the option to connect with the team. Okay. So start writing. There was one question from Anjali, that, and not just from Anjali, from many of you. Some of you may have started and then you have missed writing. कई बार आप लोगों ने स्टार्ट किया होगा आंसर राइटिंग पढ़ना और फिर बीच में मिस हो जाते हो. तो इन दैट सिचुएशन आई विल सजेस्ट दैट द बेस्ट थिंग इज स्टार्ट इट फ्रॉम टुडे इटसेल्फ. अगर आप सोचोगे ना कि हम कुछ स्ट्रेटजी बना के कल से स्टार्ट करेंगे, नो, डोंट गो फॉर दैट. स्टार्ट इट फ्रॉम टुडे इटसेल्फ. देयर इज वन थिंग कॉल्ड एज इनर्शिया. You have to overcome that inertia. So I'm giving you that external force from here. Start it from today itself. If you start doing it, you will not miss it. So you have to overcome that inertia. So thank you everyone. देखो intro and conclusion में जो problem आती है, when you start writing and start seeing the session on a regular basis, you will get to know how to improve that. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया ना कि since the question is do you think, you have to give a opinion and then you have to give a suggestion. So generally next time when you will find a similar question of do you think, तो वहां पे फिर आप उसी के अनुसार चेंज कर लोगे. So this is one thing which you will find कि generally over the period of time you will learn the art of writing introduction and conclusion. You will find it on website. Okay, website पे आपको contact number मिल जाएगा KGS team का. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining in this session. The numbers are increasing day by day. So thank you for joining. All the best.